Hey, what's going on, Cashflow Hackers? Welcome back to the IUL Scam of the Week. Let's get ready to rumble. I've got Tyler off camera right now, who is fired up, ready to go. I have no idea what I'm getting into here. The only thing I know is that it has to do with our friends Curtis Ray and Pace Morby. And I got Sebastian Boyer here with me, the approved guy, who has not seen this at all either. We've been talking about all the chaos and craziness of IULs and everything. And obviously I'm trying to like be a little more chill about this stuff right now. And as this happens, we're just getting flooded with all these issues with IUL stuff, and Tyler's all freaking out. But and then our other business partner who is not on the camera very often, Mr. Dan Henley, in the house. So he's the OG. He's been around the block for a while in this business. And so what we're going to do is Tyler's going to go through this whole process. He has done an amazing job, I think, if I know Tyler, presenting, positioning, redacting any personal information necessary to be redacted. And we're going to dive deep into this case. I don't know exactly what we're getting into. I just know that I believe it's MPI. And so I know the title of this video is MPI a scam? So let's find out.
Oh boy.
All right, so let's dive into this one. So this is so what really frustrates me before I dive into this. Do you guys know anything about MPI integrating with Pace Morby and his group? You guys know who Pace Morby is?
Yeah, I mean, Pace Morby is somebody that I had a lot of respect for until I heard that he was teaming up with Curtis Ray on the MPI stuff. I've watched a couple of their webinars. I will say I know Pace Morby at one point in time was working with the Money Multiplier people. I don't know the details as to why that relationship fell apart, but I know there's bad blood there on his end. And I know from what I've heard, there's been some misrepresentations, miscategorizations from him to them. And I don't know all the details, but
explain to so from what I understand is Pace Morby has same thing is I had a lot of respect. I have several friends that are part of his real estate group.
Yeah.
I love their methodology on acquiring properties. I think it's very creative. Sub-2 stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. So nothing but respect there. But then I had multiple people. It wasn't just one. I had multiple people start sending me these MPI recorded videos from inside of his network, being like clients of ours, like colleagues of ours that are agents.
Some of the agents on our team.
And a lot of concern where we even had some agents that were trying to have me get on a call with them to be like, hey man, like, do you know what's going on?
Well, full transparency.
I don't think he knew I was part of Life 180.
Probably not. But Garrett Gunderson and I did videos on this a while back, and we did a response. We talked about the Pace Morby and Curtis Ray situation. We talked about the lawsuit thing. This is an older video that we did, and we kind of called the relationship out. And both Garrett and I basically expressed our disgust about the situation. And Pace decided to comment in that thread and actually like doubled down on his relationship with Curtis Ray. And so it's not like he's not aware. He just refuses to get on a call and have a conversation.
So I nearly had a heart attack. And so is this a scam? In my opinion, it's pretty dang close to about as close as you can get. I've reached out to Robert Ricard, with RP Legal, and he's like, yeah, like, and so the first thing is part of the thing was like, one of our clients asked him, hey, have you ever been in a lawsuit? Right? And he said, no, I've never been a part of a lawsuit. So as you can see on this page,
Curtis Ray. Wait, hold on. Asked Curtis Ray if he's ever been involved in a lawsuit, and he straight up said no.
Yeah, he was like, no, all that stuff was dismissed, and it turned out to be nothing. So for everybody that found this, I actually was able to pull this off of the state of Washington insurance commissioner.
Not exactly secret information.
Not exactly secret. Totally whatever. You can go right here and essentially being cease and desist. Stop doing what you're doing. And Revan, you know a little more than most, but he had to purge a lot of his content.
Well, right. He says it was dismissed. It wasn't dismissed. From what I understood, he settled it, and he had to pay a fine, and he had to scrub his videos, and he had and so that's not dismissal, by the way.
Just so everybody can see, like here and MPI, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like, so wanted to put this out here so people are, because I know I'm going to get a letter from him being like,
perfect.
Hey, take this.
Please send the letters, Pace and Curtis. Just send us the letter now. We're good.
So, So essentially, this was the pitch. Okay, so and I'm going to give you actual quotes.
Perfect.
Before we get into
I love
the
it.
illustration,
We're
right?
going to take quotes from the transcripts of the videos that he
Yes.
did. Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Okay. So here's the pitch in sequence. Okay. First, he disparages every prior competing agent, saying that they're uneducated salesmen.
Yeah, zoom in more.
Money is literally stolen by those guys, in quotes, positions himself as one partner and as the only people qualified to handle advanced cases, and he's backed by Pace Morby.
He claims he's the only one available, like capable of handling advanced cases. I wonder what Tom Wall would have to say about that.
Yeah. So I would influence
That's
Pace
awesome.
Morby. I would give Pace a little bit more credit. He's built a pretty good real estate empire. I would say he's a real estate guy more than an influencer guy.
You know, the
right?
challenge with this relationship, though, and I want to say this, is like one of the things I respected Pace for was his due diligence, and his ability to like vet out a deal. If he's not able to see through this and vet this out, his opinion about everything else to me goes out the window.
I agree. So essentially, and we're going to go through quotes, but essentially he says that he uses Mutual of Omaha, kind of his exclusive carrier. He claims, and we'll go through the actual quotes here in a little bit, no other company in the world offers this product.
Right.
This capability.
I want to correct you. It's not. He's very clear. Mutual of Omaha is not his only company. I'm just for the attorneys who are going to send us a letter. We didn't say it's his only company. Okay.
So he says that it's the only company that does this.
Yeah, it's the only. It's really
Not
realistically,
the only
it's
company
where
that
he does 99.999% of his business with. It's fine.
Okay. So then he calls this. This. What's great about this whole strategy, guys, is that it's a match. So Mutual of Omaha is matching all this money.
They're matching it.
Yes.
Really?
Really.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Right?
I mean,
right,
if he's
Dan?
really
I
doing
think
it.
we should really look at doing some of these matches.
If there's match, let's do it.
So contributes their money as a free annual match that earns extra interest at no cost and no risk and no money out of your pocket. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Sounds like a scam to me.
So then he shows the illustration, right? Runaway numbers, which we're going to get into in a second.
These are how he literally described it in the video?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, this is the pitch and sequence, and then we're going to go through the...
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Then he denies all the risk, right? The famous reframes the 0% floor as it can never go backwards. Never go backwards,
Never.
right? Promises a guaranteed 3% and a 20-year return of premium. And instructs this one particular client to ignore the guaranteed and 4% columns because everything's going to implode if you looked at the 4% numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Totally.
So tells her Congress passed AG 49 specifically against me.
Did they?
Yeah.
AG 49 was passed against him, even though he wasn't even doing this when AG 49 was passed.
So, and then
really,
he uses
that's really interesting. AG 49 was, just for those paying attention, AG 49 was passed in 2015. Curtis Ray wasn't even in this business yet somehow, they did it to him.
So,
what's it like to have an ego like that?
So the replacement, right? This was trying to replace a whole life of ours.
This policy.
Yeah. So that was, he actually did comment that our whole life was one of the better designs he'd seen.
Oh,
okay?
Well, that's very nice of him.
So let's go through the illustration, and we're going to come back to some of the quotes because I think it's going to be, so I didn't have permission for the client to use the illustration. I extracted all of the numbers out of the illustration, and I actually reran the illustration myself because he made a comment that nobody else can run these illustrations like him. And so I went in and ran it. But for these presentations, I think it's not. So
zoom in more for me.
So the first year funding was 200,000. Okay. And then years 2 through 7 was 130, which 110,000 of it was the match, and the real cash out of pocket was 20,000 a year. So client pays 20 grand out of pocket, then you get a match of 110,000 from Mutual of Omaha.
Sure.
Mutual of Omaha, please, if this is real, please let us know. I will sell a bunch of these if it's really just your money.
Yeah, back this up, Mutual of Omaha. We're gonna we should call Mutual of Omaha and be like, hey, this is what we're seeing. Like, we really want to like, if this is genuine and you're going to put it on and all of his statements are accurate, we're in. Like, we're really in.
Yeah.
And if it's not accurate, you need to fire his ass.
I mean, Robert. Well, that's never mind. I don't want to say anything that's going to get me.
I mean,
in
but
trouble.
realistically, like, think about what he's doing. Like, that's insane.
Okay,
I
so
told myself I'd be
so
calm about this.
let's be realistic here, right? It's not a match. It's a loan.
It's a loan,
Okay. And
which
so
is
so Sebastian, have you ever seen anything? Would a match sound like a good deal to you?
Match sounds great to me.
So
sounds like a snake oil salesman.
anyways, 200,000, 130 at year 8, it jumps up to 150. Everything is loaned starting from there. Oops, sorry.
So year 8 and beyond is 100% funded by loans.
By loans, correct.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Up until year 20, and then at year 20, it's no more funding.
It's vanishing premiums.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Okay. Okay, so let's look at so total out of pocket, right, is 320,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The loan is actually 2.6, but as it grows, right,
Yeah,
because this
compounding.
loan is not free, even though we're going to go through some of the comments,
Yeah.
that loan grows to $4 million by the time this over 20 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And this is the problem with IUL illustrations.
Okay. So now let's go to net surrender value to loan balance, right? Now this is assuming the 6.33%. So this illustration is 6.33% illustrated every single year. And they say that's conservative. Okay.
It's dropped from the 6.4 it used to be.
So we go down 20 years in the future, right? And we see that again, this is all best case scenario, right? Or 6.33% every single year.
Mm-hmm.
We have a accumulation value of 5.1 million. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, zoom in.
Okay. So 5.15, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the loan balance of the 4.6. And then, so true net surrender value, if you just were to walk away, would be $1 million
At year 20.
at year 20. So you've put in 320,000, and over 20 years, you've gotten 1 million out if everything goes.
If everything goes perfectly,
Perfectly.
which, by the way, I will bet my life that it won't.
I mean, yeah, I'd bet.
I'll bet Tyler's life too.
I would bet my whole house and everything on it that it's not going to go perfectly. So 80% of your account value is loan value, right?
Wow.
And so somebody, Dan, you're usually pretty good at quick math. What's 4 million times 5.5%?
4 million times 5.5%, 220,000.
Okay. So that right there,
Good job, Dan.
if you have a 0%,
That's why we
if
got
you have a 0 year, right? Let's just say everything goes perfectly, right? Up until this point, right, Revan?
Yeah.
Okay, Sebastian, with me? Everything goes perfect. You get your first flat year at 62. Well, now you have a loan interest of $220,000. Okay, that's the interest expense. That's going to come off of your cash value.
So it's
That's
effectively a
20.
flat year at that point in time because you have $1 million. It's going to be effectively a 22% loss, a
Mhm.
20-ish percent loss.
That's correct.
But I thought it was a 0.
Well, you're not losing because of the market, Dan. What happens is, like, there's other variables that come into play.
Oh, that has
But that's
to
how
be-
they sell it,
that
right?
has
They
to be
sell it,
shared.
but it's protected, Dan.
What's protected?
I mean, exactly.
They're showing
Who's
you
on
a-
first?
They're showing you
Who's on first?
Here's a beautiful home, but the foundation's cracked.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay, so
You ever seen this?
No.
No.
This is crazy.
How you feeling? Hold on. Pause. How you feeling, Sebastian?
This
'Cause you s-
worries me. It's scary that,
and this is this is not somebody, this is somebody
This is
that
a
had a
high-
couple $100,000 in cash.
Oh
that
my
they were
God.
Here I
So this
am.
isn't
Front
like a high
load.
roller that just has
No,
money.
front
this is
load
middle
it
income.
and then 20 grand a year.
So
This is gonna be the
life
sec-
savings.
Yeah, this is the secret. Curtis Ray has convinced this person that the secret to them achieving the results that they want is this, and they don't realize that they just probably ruin their entire financial future.
Well,
And this is prevalent.
Or I mean,
or they
they're
do.
they're losing out 320 grand and
Or at least
Which
they
is
have
a lot of money.
insurance, and if they die, their family will get something.
There's
That's
some
the only good
protection.
part about this. Which hopefully they don't die.
But
right?
that's only if the policy's in force.
Right. All right. Keep
Oh,
going,
sorry.
big guy.
So
So,
let's go through with what this actually costs, and then I have to call them out.
good
on,
God.
On
Here I am telling myself I'm gonna like not be as fired up about this IUL stuff, and you bring me this crap. Like, really?
Okay, so what
I'm
I
getting
did was
fired up.
I grabbed all of the cost of insurance as it increases, and so, you know, realistically, what I want to show is at 63, right? Like your cumulative cost of insurance over the next 100 years is 1.7 million. So like, there's a lot of costs along the way. The premium loads are about 5% up front.
Yep.
And so like anything goes wrong early.
Yeah. Can we pause for one? Not pause, but go back to the ledger that you showed. So this point, or go back to where it was, where the funding of the premiums. I want to show that real quick because we skipped over one small thing that's extremely relevant. The reason that IUL illustrations allow this to even be shown is because, according to regulation AG 49, they are allowed to show 50 basis points of positive spread or arbitrage, 50 basis points, 0.5% on every loaned dollar. So what happens is it's assuming 6.33%. And what it's saying is when we loan out, assuming, let's say the loan rate is 5% on the match, quote unquote, this is how MPI is able to deceive people, in my opinion, about how this works, because they're showing 110,000 from year 2 through 7, and then 150 from 8 through year 20. And what that's showing is every dollar that comes out of that, you're getting a loan rate at 5%, and the accrediting rate for that loan rate, if it's 5%, would be 5.5%. So that 50 basis points on that big number compounds over time very significantly. But the challenge is, I think we all know, and we can all agree that over that 20-year period, pick any 20-year period in the history of mankind, or especially the history of our markets, there's going to be 5 to 7 years that are flat or negative.
20,
minimum.
even according to the illustration, which this is on their historical returns, they show 27% of the time it's going to do less than this.
So if that's the case, what happens? The problem is they don't show that on the illustration because the company won't do that. And so the thing I can guarantee is that this will not happen the way that he's pitching it. And the only reason it works is because of that 50 basis points of spread built in, which it's straight up like just unrealistic.
Mutual of Omaha's money, though.
I get it. So, okay, keep going. I just wanted to make that clear. We didn't touch on that.
So I got to just, because I want to keep these videos short. I think people get like, hey, this is a pretty big, blatant misrepresentation. There's policy charges, but I want to go through what he actually says.
Okay, go ahead. This is going to be fun.
Okay.
I can't wait to see this.
Okay.
What he actually said. Wait, how did you get what he actually said?
These are recordings from internal Pace Morby videos that people shared quotes with me, in quotes, as well as some client recordings of people that I've, and Robert Ricard, and
we have all this on video? We have all this on recording?
Yeah, I mean, we're not asked to share the recordings and all those things, and some of it has come from the filing
these are
records.
Quotes. I wonder how the state of Washington would feel about these quotes.
Well, some of them I got from the filings in the state of Washington.
Cool.
And other articles online about it. So,
cool. All right.
So the first thing is the 110 is not your money, which by technicality is technically 10,000 loan.
Okay.
Right. So I'm gonna back him up as a legal term, as a lawyer for 2 seconds here. It's a match, but it's their money. So he does kind of clarify, right? But these are quotes to a client.
So it's a loan. So it's not your money. You're borrowing against your policy. So
you just get to keep
it.
any interest it earns.
So that is such good wordplay.
Very good wordplay, right? Like, it sounds great.
Where he screws himself is as soon as he says it's a match.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get there.
Okay.
So he does use the word match, like actual quotes. That's why I had it right. The match is free. It is not a loan, right? But it's their money. You just get to keep any interest, right? So
The match is free. It's not a loan.
That makes it sound really
Yeah, I didn't get that in quotes. That's
okay.
That's just
Okay.
me,
You're
like,
just okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
okay, so you make an additional 1.33% because he claims that positive spread that you're going to get that 6.33% every single year.
That's not the case at all.
That's not the case at all.
That,
So
first of all, the 50 first of all, that's not the case. And I got news for you, everybody watching this, nothing cost nothing.
right? So
Okay.
you make an additional 1 point, and so that's where he said. So when he blows up Whole Life, he says this is a better Whole Life because this you always are guaranteed to get this 1.33% on.
Does
your
he
loan
actually say that's guaranteed? No, I don't see anywhere he's
We're gonna
saying
keep
guaranteed.
going.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So no money out of your pocket. It's 150 going in. Like again, very like tough wordplay, right? Like if you're just a general consumer, it's tough to kind of.
Very deceiving.
Yeah, but the problem is like if like don't go back to the ledger, but when we looked at that, the only way the 150 can go in is if there's enough money to borrow against it to go in, and if there's any negative years, the ability to borrow to fund will go out the window eventually as well. So that can all blow up. So there's not guaranteed to go in.
So
Furthermore, if it blows up, are you talking about the tax consequences?
No.
Like what happens if
we're
this
gonna
blows
get to
up?
it. We're gonna
Okay.
get to it. I mean,
Musa, indeed.
so
This son of a...
So let's go here, right? So their money's making you additional interest spilling into your account in the tune of 300,000 in 15 years.
Spilling into your account.
Right?
Man, I don't like Curtis. That's not a secret, but like I was really like hoping to be able to back him up a little bit more. This is
Okay.
just sad.
They guarantee that at the end of the contract, you'll at least make 3%. They will credit you a 3% compounding rate to your policy. That is their guarantee.
That is not.
So the guaranteed index floor is 0%.
Yeah.
Their fixed account is 3%.
So yeah, like what is he talking
So he's
about?
showing, I'm assuming, he's showing fixed account and saying, look, this is like the fixed rate, right? I mean, Dan, you've been around long enough.
Yep.
People kind of
He's doing
merge those.
the shell game.
Yeah.
He is.
Yep.
They have one guarantee that is a return of premium at 20 years. If you're not happy with the policy, they give you all your money back, which is, so
Which-
policy has failed to meet the, so he does the, you have to,
But the return of premium doesn't work if you start taking loans before the 20-year period.
Yeah.
So he says that, but
page 20,
it's
his
nullified.
own design voids this. claim.
Yeah, like he makes the statements and he knows. This is the problem. This dirtbag knows.
Hey, I'm supposed to be the one
no,
calling
I'm
him a
sorry, but
dirtbag.
this guy is blatantly lying. Like straight up, trying to like position himself as this dude who's ethical and has got everybody's like best interest at heart. He knows straight up how this damn rider works, and he knows that everything he's doing is going to void it, yet he uses it as a sales tool to like give people confidence in the whole strategy.
Your highest account value is always your guaranteed lowest account value.
Wait, what? Say that again.
It can never go
What?
backwards because of the market risk in the floor.
You can never go backwards?
never go backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So,
Hmm. I think we already talked about that at year
Yeah.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you got more. Good
Oh.
Lord.
Man.
so-
I'm going to have a heart
A
attack.
bunch of financial advisors complained about me. They took it to Congress, and Congress passed a law specifically against me. It's called AG 49.
Oh,
Are you
no.
kidding me? He should lose his license over this stuff. This is insane. State of Washington, I'm calling you out. How did you even allow him to get back and do this? Like they should have just stripped him.
That 500,000 of extra interest in 20 years because of that 1.3%, right? Is actually like 1.3 million. Really? Sounds good. It's all free money. Your loan rate is higher than your growth rate 100% of the time.
Wait, your loan rate? Wait, say that again.
Your loan rate is higher than your growth rate 100% of the time.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. Your loan rate is higher than your growth rate? That's like the opposite of what he says. If the loan rate is higher than the growth rate, that means the policy will implode.
Maybe I quoted it. It's probably,
Maybe he just like
I
had a
sh-
slip because it was. I'm assuming you used it.
his growth rate is, yeah.
Loan rate. Okay. Yeah.
I'm assuming he meant,
Yeah.
when
He
was
probably
saying-
was like a Freudian slip kind of.
yeah.
Thing.
Like
But
growth-
I mean, you know.
So his 2008,
actually spoke
2011,
the truth for a moment.
2015,
There you go.
2018, 2022, 5 out of the 20 years,
Yeah.
about 20% of the time, 25% of the time, the 5% would have been, you would have got less than the growth rate.
And historically speaking, over the past 50 years, just so everybody knows, 34% of the time the market performs
Less than the loan rate.
less than the loan rate.
Right.
Yep.
But not a
Just so
zero.
everybody knows. Yep.
Not a zero. Their money is tied up, so this is now there. He's referencing Mutual of Omaha.
Okay.
Okay. Their money is tied up in AAA corporate bonds, which makes 5%. It's collateralized by cash, so they secure it as so they're as secured as you possibly can be.
I think we should take this video and send it to the leaders at Mutual of Omaha and then send it to every insurance regulator in the country. That's what I think.
You know, on the illustration it shows, you know, guaranteed, right? And then the midpoint a lot of the times, and then they show the 6.33. So this is at 4%. You're going to see that this thing eventually implodes. These two columns cannot be reviewed in it. Like, so he essentially is like saying like these won't happen because it's going to earn the 6.33%.
Sure.
So this is the stuff that
you have more?
I'm going to start here. MPI is the only
Zoom in.
Sorry.
More. There you go.
We've been able to decrease up to 90% of the expenses inside of this policy.
Oh, you're obviously a genius, Curtis.
We took the last 65 years of it, we went directly in the middle at 6.33, which is the 65-year average. Very conservative.
That we went like he strategically did this. It has nothing to do with the fact that industry regulators are telling you that's just the max you're allowed to use. You're such a brilliant genius.
So one thing I want to clarify is when you look at average of an index, right? They're always assuming dividends and they're assuming averages, not actuals. So everybody that's listening over that is like, first off, take out dividends, and then people need to look up actual versus average, right? And then you need to look up timing.
And you got to take into consideration all the fees and the costs,
well,
the insurance.
That's okay.
Everything.
Now you take all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, our IUL Rescue My IUL will have a new calculator here coming out in the next couple weeks. So maybe by the time you watch it, go over there where I actually grab all of these different indexes. We're adding more every week where it actually shows you, hey, historically based on this cap rate or whatever.
Can you put like an MPI comparison on that analyzer that takes all the considerations?
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
So MPI is the only policy in the world that can do this to date, that has the match strategy.
I just threw up in my
anyone
mouth.
who wants to do this has to do it with me. So Mutual of Omaha has a non-compete with me. So I don't know.
Mutual of Omaha has a non-compete with me.
But I was able to run the illustration. So the same illustration he ran because I was curious about that one.
Well, you
and I
just
was
can't
able to
call
run
it MPI. I don't.
Correct,
I mean,
correct.
like whatever. It's
I don't have any lawsuits. I've never been sued. Literally 100% made up.
Wow.
Wow. What's it like to be such a scam artist? Like, and I mean that word, because if you're straight up lying to people and you're not willing to just own the fact that you got fined and you were forced to strip your content and you settled, you like, I don't know, settled, paid a fee was paid. That's not dismissal. That's not, I wasn't involved in a lawsuit. That's not, I mean, there was real penalty. There was real consequence. I think it should have been way more drastic than what it was.
But he got a lawsuit.
But he had a lawsuit and he absolutely paid a fine and he absolutely had to strip his content because what he was saying was BS. And now he's absolutely being maybe better on social media, but then when he gets behind a paywall and in on a webinar where it's not public and not recorded and not all, or I mean, it's recorded obviously, but like it's just not public for regulators to see. He just goes hog wild like this. Nothing has changed with this clown.
No, and these are the people that just, I mean, in IUL agents, look, we may not get along with IUL agents, but IUL agents should not like this guy.
No,
it's like
exactly.
a bad rap for them too.
Curtis, here's what needs to happen. You need to come to Peru with me, and we're going to straighten you out, homie. You're going to face all your demons, all these lies, all these things that you deal with.
No, I'm just going to call Robert Ricard and
Okay.
say, hey, by the way,
Get
this
him.
is like
Unleash
not a
the
plug.
dogs.
Like if you're a consumer, please send over your policies. If you're sold one of these, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, anybody.
Unfortunately, a lot of them do have to go to like legal arbitration.
Yeah, they do.
And we're
And we
not
deal with
attorneys. but we can at least help facilitate that process.
We can facilitate the connection with the people you need to talk to be protected and to get your money back and to like do whatever the process is you go through.
I will say
And it'll be
there's
different
one
for everybody.
rumor that I've heard
Ooh.
that if you write a letter to Mutual of
I've heard
Omaha
this
about
rumor.
this, they just give you your money back. What does that tell you?
Without any questions
Well, we know
asked.
of a situation. It's not a rumor. We know of a situation where it happened. Whether it's duplicatable is to be determined. We'll see. But, whew, okay, you got anything? Like, what the hell, dude?
That's all I got for this.
That's all I got.
That's enough.
Anything?
All right.
Any
Summary?
questions, Dan?
What do you think?
I just can't believe this guy's doing what he's doing. Just imagine all the families he's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, keeps this veil of this holier than now.
The altruistic,
I'm
holier
the
than thou
expert,
nature.
And you need to go with, this is just criminal.
God, it's like, to me, that's like narcissism.
100%.
Like, it's narcissism.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. It's like,
We can't say that, but
I mean, I'm not saying he's a narcissist. I'm saying it's tendencies. I'm just watching. I'm watching behavior. I'm not a clinical psychologist or anything, but like I look at his comments, I look at the behavior, I look at the reality, and it is what it is.
calling it a match. I mean, to me,
Calling
the
it a match,
match
it's just
was
a
like
lie.
the craziest thing I've ever heard.
It's like there's creative
Because-
marketing, and then there's
I
like
can't
deception.
even imagine the illusion
There's layers and layers.
and layers of just.
Wow.
It's the words. I mean, the word, like you can see when he quotes
He's
it.
a wordsmith.
It's-
Nothing is by
it's-
accident. What do you think?
It's scary. It's scary to think about it. That consumers who they're working with their hard-earned life savings, and they're trusting somebody that's going to set them up for retirement. And
And this is the world
is
of
the-
TikTok finance.
yeah, it's scary.
It's true.
And then here we are trying to help people with the right thing, and we're competing against this, where it sounds and looks so appealing because of how it's presented versus just
I
being
agree with
honest with
that.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
unfortunately,
yeah,
people don't know what questions to ask.
They don't know what questions to ask, so they're just vulnerable to the wolves who just eating them up.
All right. So if you have a policy, if you have looked at it, if you have illustrations you want evaluated, go to rescuemyiul.com. You can submit all your information there. We will make sure Tyler personally looks at it. I want you guys to overwhelm him with work because he has nothing else to do. No, I'm playing. But seriously, send them in and we'll look at them. The team will go through it and kind of give you, insight. And whether it's an enforce and you already have a policy in place and you're a little worried, you're a little confused, uncertain about what's going on, or whether you're just considering it, reach out. We're happy to help. So, anything else?
No,
You're
stay tuned for we got more.
We got a lot
doozies.
more of these. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified because we're doing this IUL Scam playlist. I'm going to put the playlist here on the end screen as well. So if you want to watch other videos about other IUL scams, make sure you watch it. See you then.